Okay. We're going to go ahead and get started. It is 12:45, and I know we got a lot of fun stuff on the tables here that people are already taking a look at, which is awesome. So again, we're going to go ahead and get started. If you are sitting in the back, you are just kind of watching. If you would like to interact today, we still have some seats available, so feel free to come and sit up here if that is something you're interested in checking out. So our session is Bananas, Bots, and Drones, and we're talking about physical computing in the classroom. So we're going to do an introduction. We're going to do a little mini model lesson with you guys. So all the stuff with the Ozobots, you will get to do a little mini lesson with that. So if you have a writing utensil, that would be awesome. If you don't, somebody around you might, or you can just kind of, we have a data table ready for you if you have a writing utensil. We're going to do some explain and explore. So we're going to talk about the equipment and what you have available in front of you and what all of the bunch of resources are on your tables. And the last thing we're going to do is just talk to you a little bit about how to actually obtain some equipment. If this is something you're interested in doing, how can you make this happen? And we'll end with some resources and closure. That is the plan for today. This is Chad Ward.
Hi, I'm Chad Ward. I am a computer science teacher at Kenwood Middle out in Clarksville. I've been teaching computer science for 3 years now. I am certified to teach computer science, math, science, and social studies, so I'm pretty good at kind of finding ways to use all this equipment. And
I'm Amanda Gray. I'm a technology integration coach, also out in Clarksville. And I used to teach STEM. I come from STEM. I also come from music, which is why we have a music activity here today. So again, we're just really excited about finding ways to get computer science and computational thinking off of the computers a little bit. Perfect. So the plan, again, the purpose for today, so we're going to demonstrate computer science integration into specifically a science lesson in your mini lesson. We're also going to explore a variety of physical computing equipment and activities that you can do. We're going to talk to you about the little brainstorm resource that we have for you guys that you can be working on after or as we go. We are also going to provide some resources that you can share with your schools and district. Again, so if this is something that you are excited about and you're interested in, we're going to give you some resources that you can take back with you to help you obtain some of this equipment.
okay, so before we get started, we would like to do a participant's oath. Can we put that up?
Me.
Thank you. All right, so if you guys can repeat after me. I state your name. Promise to be gentle with the equipment on our tables today, because we are all educators and we cannot afford to replace them. But in all seriousness, this is our district equipment and some of our personal equipment, so just make sure you're handling it with care.
Thank you. We appreciate you. So we do have a collaborative resource. I know there's not a lot of room on these tables. We had intended to have this going a lot throughout the session, but if that is not something that can happen right now, it's okay. The Padlet, which we'll have linked to, but we also have a bit.ly if you want to check it out now. It's just a collaboration space where you can jot down your ideas. As we're talking through things, we're just looking for concepts here. Like, you don't have to give a whole lesson. You don't have to give a standard. But we're just like, hey, as you're checking out the Makey-Makeys today, this could go really cool with an English lesson with this. You don't have to teach the content. You don't have to know it, be an expert. It's just like, hey, this is an idea. Okay, so this is just a resource. So again, when you leave here today, you can take this back to your districts and be like, we have ways to do this in all content areas. This would be cool, okay? We'll bring up the Padlet a bunch of times, and it is also on your cards on the table. The bit.ly is here. So you will have lots of ways to access that throughout the session.
Okay, how many science teachers we got in here? Any 8th grade science teachers?
Hey!
So natural selection, right? We in 8th grade, we have to do natural selection. A lot of us are probably familiar with the PhET simulation with the wolves and the rabbits. So what we kind of did is we created a way to kind of simulate that with actual physical equipment. So what you have on your table right here is basically the the course that your Ozobot bunny is going to run through. Can you, next slide?
Yes.
Thanks. So what we're going to do for this activity is you're going to place your Ozobot. Those that are not familiar with it, the Ozobots are line-following robots. They're programmed to follow a line. So what you'll see on your thing is you have a start point, and the Ozobot has, if it's not coded, it has a random code built into it. So if it comes to an intersection, it just decides automatically which way it wants to go. So what you're going to do at your table is you're going to run your Ozobot through the natural selection course. So you've got two different options. It can either go left or right. If it goes left, that's going to be the brown. Your bunny obtains brown fur. If it goes right, it obtains white fur. And then we have two different environments. We have a forest environment and a snow environment, right? So if our bunny obtains brown fur but goes to the snow environment, probably not going to be successful at surviving, right? But if the bunny gets brown fur and heads towards the forest environment, more likely to be successful because of camouflage, stuff like that. So what you're going to do at your tables is you're just going to kind of do a little lab. You have a data table on your sheet right here, and you're going to start with your Ozobot on the start spot.
We have lots of papers.
And then you're going to let your Ozobot run through the course. So if it gets brown fur, circle the brown fur. If it gets white fur, circle the white fur. And then after it gets its fur, to decide which environment it goes to, make sure you circle that too, and then you're going to state whether or not it survives. If it survives, it'll do a little evasive maneuver, and then come around and do a little celebration for reproduction, and then it'll start the next generation. If it dies, it'll do a little noise.
It'll be a sad
and it's going to die for you. So, so you can go ahead. We're going to give you guys
about 15
minutes to kind of run through the activity with the Ozobots. And we'll be kind of just milling around, helping you out, asking questions if you have any.
And just something to share about the generation side of the table. If it lives and goes through the process again, you're going to write a 2 for it made it to the second generation. If it dies, you just start over at 1. So your table might say 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 1, 1. Like none of yours are going to be the same because it's random. Okay, so we'll go ahead and start the timer, and we'll let you guys work through your data table. Those of you who are in the back, if you want to come and stand and watch, please feel free. Yes. Oh, how do you turn it on? That's a great question. Your Ozobot has an on button on the side of it. I believe it is the left side over here. You'll see it kind of on its little head, and you just set it on the black line where it says start.
No, nope, they should be good.
It'll be good. You won't have to calibrate it. And again, those of you in the back, if you would like to come and take a look, please do. Those of you who are with us virtually, we have a virtual link as well. You're amazing. You're just the best, Chelsea. That's why we wanted you in here. Excuse me, I'm going to pop right behind you. Come on. He doesn't want to pick a side. All right. How rude. We're going to turn you on. We're going to try again. We also no, we did not get a side. Okay. We did. Sorry. Go for you. Sorry. Is this regular one? No. Oh. Okay. Let's see if he'll pick a side. Hey, where are the extras? This guy's not cooperating. Is yours not cooperating either? All right, hang on. We got to back up. Now you work. All right, let's try this guy. He's not going to be a cute little bunny, though, unfortunately. He's just going to be a normal little Ozobot. He's good? He's working? No? Ah. All right.
You didn't try to talk to me.
Quit being difficult. Hallelujah. Okay, good. Listen, you. All right, hey, just by a show of hands, how many of you are at least like halfway through your table? Yay, okay, awesome. We're making good time. Thank you. And if your group kind of finishes, we have extra resources on the table, just cards about like what the Ozobot does, what the capabilities are. So feel free to check those out on your table too. Like generation 3 yet? Yeah, Ozobot survives. Mine did too. Mine did too, if it makes you feel any better. This is awesome. All right, show of hands, has anybody made it to the end of their table yet? All right, sweet. We're not going to go the whole 10 minutes. Let's do like maybe 2 more minutes or so, and we'll call it for this activity. More time for other activities. This is good. For those of you who are done, the next one, somebody at your little group will need a computer with access to a USB port. Not everybody, one person. And if you don't have that, let me know because I can go grab my computer. It's dead? Okay, hang on. Let me go grab mine at least for an extra. A minute to wrap things up, and I will be coming to collect your adorable bunnies after this. So if you need a picture, take it now. Oh, someone's working ahead. We have teachers in here, don't we? I heard it. I know it. Again, if for this next one, we'll need 1 computer per group, and if you don't have that, that's okay. We'll make it work. We're looking for 1 computer per group for the next one. All right. The next slide is the makey-makey, so you could just talk while I collect.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to kind of recap what we did here. So we did a natural selection simulation using the Ozobots, and some of the connections that you can make with science and computer science, you can do specifically in this activity. So when you're teaching this lesson and you talk about natural selection and you kind of talk about the randomness of things, and depending on what kind of mutations and genetic alterations the animals have will determine their survival, you can kind of tie that back into coding and randomness of code. So like if you're coding a computer or a program to work and you use a random code, the computer is going to decide. You don't really have any control over that. The other thing you can kind of talk about, tying this back to computer science, is you can talk about like if-then statements, if-else statements. So when it gets its fur, if it's white and it goes into the snow, then it survives. If else, if it gets white fur and goes into the forest, it's probably not going to survive. So you can make those connections there both in your science class, but you could also do this in a computer science class where you're kind of expanding on the activities that the 8th grade science teacher's doing down the hall. So, and that's kind of what we're aiming for here, is we're kind of showing you the connections between the different contents, integrating those computer science concepts and skills into it, but then having hands-on activities that the students can do. Because talking about natural selection, probably not too interested in, right? Having them do the PhET simulation, probably a little more interesting, but putting them around a table in a group and having them run with a robot doing the simulation for them, they're going to be much more interested, much more engaged in the activity.
All right. You guys are an amazing class. I love it. We're going to move on to the next activity. So again, we are going to need a computer for this one. If you don't have one, that's okay. We can switch around and make this work. So the next equipment that we have is the makey-makey. And this is a simple circuit board. Okay, it has comes with alligator clips. There are a lot of things that you can do with makey-makey. If this is something you have or you're interested in, check out their website, because their website is like a treasure chest of ideas. I used makey-makey actually in my music classes before I taught STEM. As part of the reason I got the STEM job is because I used these kind of things in my music classes. So I tied mine into not only music standards, but I also tied in a science standard to go with it, because we're talking about simple circuits. We discuss electricity and what is conductive, what is not conductive. Why is it that the bananas are conductive, but like something on the ground is not? We would teach them that if they fist bumped, they were conductive. Do that with middle schoolers. They think it's the coolest thing ever. Okay? So the way that this activity is going to work, it is a little less of the coding stuff. Now with the makey-makey, it does work with Scratch. So if you are teaching coding and you're having them code games on Scratch, you can, instead of doing arrow keys, you can use the arrows on the makey-makey, and they can actually play their game with the makey-makey instead of on their computer. Okay, so there are ways to tie in computer science. This one's a little just more physical computing activity. So here's what you're going to do for this one. In reality, with your students, you would be teaching them how to set up the makey-makey kit, how to plug everything in the alligator clips and all of that. We have done that for you already. You will be taking your kit and you will be plugging it into your computer using the USB port, which is the longer red cord over here. You will plug it in, and everything is connected to the bananas except for one alligator clip. You will notice one alligator clip that is all by itself, and it is connected to the earth on your makey-makey. This is the one that you hold. So you physically need to be touching the metal. No, you will not get hurt. The kids freak out every single time I ask them to do this. You will not get electrocuted. Okay? So you physically hold on to this with one hand, and with the other hand, you are going to touch the bananas. Okay? And that is how you create that is how you create the circuit. And on your papers, which you should have on your tables, you're going to find the one with the music notes. That's right. I'm going to teach you how to play a song. We're going to play Hot Cross Buns. Okay? You're welcome. So we're going to give you about 5 minutes to work with this to finish hooking up your makey kit. Your bananas should be in order, okay? But if you know the song Hot Cross Buns, do, all right? You can figure out how it sounds, but the sheet music for it and which banana you need to touch is on this paper, okay? And we'll go around to answer questions if you have them. I hear it already going. Do you want to get the posters? Those about posters? All right, it's the mic. I forgot a very important step, you guys. I forgot to tell you that you actually have to go to software on your computer. makeymakey.com/piano is the application that you need to be able to play the song.
Hello? Okay. As you guys are working, there are some Grove boards at the table as well. These Grove boards have been pre-programmed to do certain things that you can use in a lesson. So for example, one of them set up as a weather station. It might be set up as a seismograph. So if you kind of want to just explore those two, just plug them into the USB port. They're already pre-programmed. Try to figure out which one you have and how you could use that in a lesson.
All right, we got less than 2 minutes. So finish up with what you are working on now. I don't hear as much piano noise anymore, so we might be wrapping up. That's cool. If you would like, I see some people starting to take it apart. You do not feel like you need to take it apart. We'll just unclip everything and put it back in the box afterwards. But if you guys are done, we will scoot on over so we can do the next activity. This is like the fastest mini class ever. All right.
Okay, so the next activity, last activity we have for you guys is drones. Unfortunately, Music City Center won't let us fly drones inside the room. So what we do have, though, is we have a virtual simulator for the drone. So if you have any kind of device that can get on the internet, it doesn't necessarily have to be a computer. There are instruction sheets that give you the website and the password for the drone simulator. So what you're going to do is, I've used this one to teach a geometry lesson, to teach shapes. And it's a little bit more in depth, but over the next 5 minutes, you're just going to basically create this code right here. And this will be your shape for a square. And then once you've created this code right here, you can edit your shapes just by changing the number of the size and changing the angle. So when you get to this site, takeoff will have its own takeoff section. Land will have its own section. This right here will be in the loop section on the website, and then these right here will be under navigation. So all you're going to do is just drag and drop them over. It's just like Scratch or any other block coding. So you're going to drag and drop it over. And then once you've got your code put together, there are 3 blue lines on that website. That is the main menu. You'll click on that, and then you'll see an option to launch your drone. So you'll be able to fly your simulated drone on that website.
And just so you know, this, I believe, will work on computer, phone, tablet,
Yeah,
right?
it should work on any device.
Okay, so if you don't have a computer, that's fine. And if you want more details on what we're doing right now, we have laminated papers on your table with instructions. They were in order, but I'm pretty sure people move things. Not a problem at all, but you're looking for the one that says drones. Okay, and this has the password to get into the site. This has the website and further instructions. This is another one. We're going to give you about 5 minutes, and you're going to try and draw a, what is it, a square?
Yeah.
Is it a square? Yeah, we're going to draw a square using the drone simulator.
And for those in the back, if you don't have one of those sheets in front of you, the password is 4822. So when you go to the drone block simulator, if you type in 4822, you should be able to get into the simulator.
Yes, and our lovely Chelsea here, who is working with us, is sharing this in the app for virtual participants. So if you are participating virtually, sit in the back, need to get access to any of this stuff, you can find it in the app as well for our event. Thank you. There you go. There's some instructions. They got real quiet. They are focused. Now we're doing coding. I've learned. I've got this now. Make eye contact. Our tech people in the back are doing a great job, guys. So make sure that you're thanking the tech teams working on all the stuff for all these presentations. Two things that I totally forgot to mention that I think are really important. One, the Ozobot. I know that not everybody has access to Ozobots, but thanks to Reach Them All, everybody has access to Finches. So I am working, because I designed this is mine. I am working with Finch right now to create this for the finches. I'm working with Bird Brain Technologies to adapt this for finches. So hopefully by the end of the summer, we should have this exact lesson, just with no colors and a lot bigger, ready to go on Bird Brain so that you guys can use this with the finches too. So I just want to make sure you knew that. This is specifically for Ozobot, but we have other options available coming soon. Also, if this specifically is something that you liked, if you go into the Summit app and you find my name, Amanda Gray, or Chad Ward, either one of us, click on our names and scroll down, and you're going to have a resource list, and a PDF of this exact poster is going to be on that resource list. So congratulations, you guys can have this too, okay? So I just want to make sure you guys knew about that resource. Do you have anything else you want to say about this?
No.
Nope? Okay. So we're going to go ahead and move on. I know we're really close to reaching the end of our session, so I think this is the end of our hands-on learning stuff. I hope you guys had a great time exploring all of this. We're really excited to share this with you, and this is something that both of us have done in our classes, and we really love this stuff, so we're always looking for ways to share this with you.
Yeah, and like Amanda just said with the Ozobots and the Finch, there are many concepts that you can use in same kind of lessons, but using just different equipment, right? So like we did the drone activity, but the finches can also be programmed to make shapes and stuff like that and draw shapes. So you can use those to do the math lesson that we were just talking about in the drones. We really like to emphasize those cross-curricular connections. So we didn't do a computer science lesson. We did a science lesson. We did a music lesson. We did a math lesson. We just used computer science elements to teach those lessons. And ideally, that's kind of what you want to go for. Is you want to have that integration. You want to make it seem seamless to both the students, but to also to the other people in your building. Because once they see that they can do this, then computer science isn't scary, right? And that's kind of the thing, is everybody's like, oh, I don't want to code and do all this stuff. You don't have to necessarily do the coding and stuff like that. You could still teach these concepts, the foundational concepts, with activities in your classroom. And then the last thing is just working at your level and your students' level. So if you're not ready to code, then you don't purchase Grove boards, right? You purchase something like the drones where you can do block coding with it, right? Get a set of Ozobots, and it's color coding. It's not even anything on the computer. You don't even need a computer to program the Ozobots. So there are different ways and different levels that you can start integrating these concepts and these activities into your classroom.
And I'd like to jump in and tag along with that too, with working with ability levels. If you have students that you know would be able to follow the instructions on how to set up a Makey kit, make them set it up. Teach them how, like the algorithmic thinking, what are the steps in order to do this? Teach them these concepts and have them do the coding. If you have students who have taken computer science classes and they understand coding, let them code it on the drone blocks, right? Like they can do that, but if you're teaching younger students or this is brand new stuff for them, maybe you want to set up the code. Maybe you want to give them, like we did with you with the drones, we gave you what to do. We gave you the answers. You had to do it, but we told you what it is, right? So along with working with your students' ability level, just if you don't believe that they're at the level to be able to do some of this yet, maybe just give them some scaffolding. You set it up first, and they can still do it, okay? Awesome. Let's talk about how to get this equipment. We have a lot of ideas to share with you. First one, starting at stations. So again, I taught STEM. And I did Makeys, I did Ozobots, I did all of these kinds of equipments, and I didn't do it as a full class. I didn't have a class set of anything. In fact, I went to him down the hall and I said, can I have your Ozobots for a week? Okay, so stations are a really great way to do some of these activities. It's a little more cost effective and you don't have to get as much equipment. In fact, you can get more equipment because you're getting more types of equipment but fewer of them, right? So stations are always a really great option.
There are also a lot of grant opportunities out there, and we'll plug one of the next sessions. There's a grant writing session right after this one, so you might want to check that out. But there are a lot of grants out there that can help you get some of this equipment. For example, the drones that I have in my classroom, I obtained those through the TVA grant. I applied for that, explained I wanted to integrate, physical computing and drones into the classroom, and got a grant for that. So there are a bunch of different options for that. We actually have that in our resource list too.
On the app, yes.
Yep, we give you 4 or 5 different options of where you can go to look at some different grant options.
And then the last thing, if you guys don't know about the regional hubs, the STEM hubs that are available all around the state, they have amazing lending libraries that have a ton of physical computing equipment. I think almost every single one of them has a class set of Ozobots. So at any point in time, you can request to have the Ozobots and borrow them for a little bit of time. So if purchasing is not something that you can do right away, check out the lending library and see if they have anything that they can let you borrow for the time. Okay, so we are wrapping up. Let's talk about all the resources we gave you. Also, virtual people, just want to let you know we tried really hard to make sure you could still participate in everything today too. So we gave you a lot of links and we're shooting a lot of things at you. So hopefully this was great for people in person and virtually as well. So again, on the app for the summit, if you click on one of our names, that's how you're going to find our resources. And we specifically have a resource list. It's a giant Google sheet with tons of hyperlinks to places, specifically equipment, resources, lesson plans, PDF of things we did today, lessons that we've done. So that is just kind of a treasure chest for you guys, lots of things for you to use. Hopefully, I have seen some people adding to the Padlet, which is awesome. So again, if you have ideas, keep on brainstorming. That Padlet's not going away. So please feel free to make sure to add things as you go.
And then just keep in mind that to make it a priority to teach those computer science concepts while you're doing these lessons. It doesn't take a whole lot to talk about if-then statements or if-else statements while you're talking about natural selection and you're using robots to demonstrate it, right? So just make sure you're approaching that and you're including that in your lesson. And then again, the computational thinking and those foundational skills. You can use all kinds of lessons to teach those foundational computer science skills that are going to really be important in the next couple of years when students are going to be required to do this in middle school and required to do this in high school. So the more you can get it in front of them, the more that comfortable they are with it, the more comfortable you're with it, the better off everybody is.
Awesome. I know we haven't really stopped. We've just kind of been going and going and going. Does anybody have questions before we kind of wrap up? Anything that we can answer? Go for it. Here, let me give you the microphone just so virtual people can hear. Sorry about that.
This is just for the people that may need to get a set of the Ozobots. ORISE, Oak Ridge Institute of Science, they also have a class set of Ozobots, and they'll ship them to you for free. So I just thought I'd share that with you.
There are so many great places out there, and just ask around. I mean, you'd be shocked how many places are just like, oh, you're doing this, we will help you. You know, it's really awesome. Ask around, and you'll definitely, that's it? Okay, just wanted to let you guys know, we're on Twitter, I'm on Twitter, I have my Twitter linked on here, so if you took any pictures, shameless plug, please post them and tag me in them. I'm at Hey Miss Gray, because that's my handle. That was as cool as I can get. So please feel free. If you are posting pictures and sharing on Twitter, please tag me. Follow me. He's on KMS_comp.sci, I think is what it is. KMS_comp.sci. So please share your pictures. Please, feel free to share anything that we have sent with you. Take this back to your district. We really are hoping that you guys leave inspired to go talk to people in other classes and core content or anything else in your district who you think this could help. So thank you for coming to our session. We were really excited to have you, and stop us if you have any questions. We don't want the bananas, so eat them or toss them. We don't want them.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for coming, you guys.